Petition. We are here to help assist the woolly-haired, melanated beings that have lost, have gained amnesia, coming out of their sleep. You know what I'm saying? And with the help of the good brothers like his right here. You know what I'm saying? If you haven't already, please go to polka.rabbitpodcast.com, pick up my book, Bicultural Living Illusion, The World of Illusions. People always ask me why my topic matter is so diverse, why I talk about such different things. It's all in the book called Journey. That's enough for me. As always, go ahead, brother, introduce yourself, what you do, and etc. etc.
All right, cool. I am coming back out down. I am getting my voice back, so I did have a bit of a cold. But it's Darvid Osiris. You all know me. I do genealogy. I create content, things like that. Also, I'm a teacher. So in the education system. So yeah, that's a bit about me. Been on here before talking this indigenous stuff, and today's gonna be a great one. Tonight's gonna be a great one.
Yeah. So, it's interesting that you talk about, you started off talking about genealogy. So, would you please talk about the importance of genealogy?
Of course, the importance of genealogy is knowing where one comes from, one's
Hmm.
family, where they trace back to, their identity, their ethnicity, their nationality. People talk about this all the time. Well, there's a lot of people that talk about this all the time, and there's been a notion that people that are considered black within the Americas do not know who they are, do not have an identity, do not have a culture. So that being said, once you find out that culture, and genealogy is a step-by-step process of doing that. It is not a DNA test, to be exact. The DNA test, if you're going to do a DNA test, then genealogy, as what the ancestry would say, is more viable and more of an accurate resource than a DNA test. A DNA test will only give you estimates, and your genealogy is chasing your family by name, date, place of birth, death of birth, things like that. There's so many records you could get into: census records, marriage records, birth records, death records, war records. You got
Yeah, no, it's interesting because I actually started myself. You know what I'm saying, going down that path, and boy, man, you can open up a can of worms. You know what I'm saying? Like when you really
it,
start when you start digging. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing, man. If y'all haven't really started that, it's amazing the way things branch
meets a
off and.
bunch of different
Hmm?
Indian roles,
Oh.
the Dawes roles, Miller
Let me see something.
roles.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay, I th- yeah, I think we got a little technical issue, but I'm just gonna turn you up on IG so it's all good, so I can hear you. Yeah, I couldn't hear you. So you hear me now? Okay, cool. Yeah. Sorry y'all on the other land because y'all okay, I think he just okay. Yeah, I know, man. To the tribe, we've been battling this thing all, for a hot minute. That's why I let things started late, man. And in all honesty, my computer's been tripping all day. You know what I'm saying? The internet's been tripping. I don't know if it's some of the solar flare stuff going on. What you say? You back? Okay. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on, man, but my joint has been tripping all day. So let's see. You coming back? Real talk, man. My thing has been tripping all day. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm opening
Yeah,
up just to get on here.
yeah. This
Uh,
is my third too. You're right. No, this is my second. I'm sorry. It's my second,
because
not my third.
my PC. I don't know what's going on with my PC. My Chrome, my first Chromebook, right, is camera doesn't work, but the mic works. And this Chromebook, I just had to go get my dad's Chromebook. So just hop on here.
Yeah. Well,
But I'm
so
gonna buy a
as you can
webcam, an
see,
external webcam.
yeah, we've been battling, but we're here for y'all because we're gonna get this information regardless. So, all right, so here we go. So the last thing you were talking about was genealogy. So how do you actually get started with genealogy? That's my question.
The number one important thing when it comes to genealogy, getting started, is talking to your folks, talking to your family. Talk to the oldest person that you know that's living. Talk to your grandma, talk to your grandpa, talk to your mom, talk to your dad, talk to your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, anybody that have valuable information on your family. Their name of birth, their name, their date of birth, place of birth, maiden names, all that. They'll provide all that with you. They might even give you some obituaries. You might even have a family Bible
Mm-hmm.
to help you out.
Yeah. So, all right. So,
Hmm.
can you break down? I mean, how important is DNA? How does that all connect in all of this?
How does DNA connect?
Yeah. How's it connect in all of this?
I wouldn't say there's plenty. There's been plenty of. Hold on, I can share my screen, right? So yeah, I'm gonna share my screen.
All right. Let me see. Hold on.
Crows. There, we actually have shout out to Phoenix Moon, right? Um, we actually have. She actually worked with a doctor that speaks
Mm-hmm.
on genealogy. Just gonna go to YouTube real quick. Her name is Dr. Fatu. She's unbiased. She's half Ghanaian and she's half American Indian.
Okay.
So she has no bias with it. She was able to break down DNA and things like that
Mm-hmm.
and what you interpret from the DNA.
Mm-hmm.
So DNA can be important if someone is adopted or if someone lacks information on a certain parent. It's able to connect you to living people. And that is all DNA is for, is to connect
Mm-hmm.
you to living people. I'm trying. I don't know what YouTube is loading slow, but I was trying to share the screen. But Phoenix Moon, definitely has a channel on her channel. She definitely has. She's had a doctor on there that's talking DNA. There's two
Mm-hmm.
videos. The doctor teaches you how to interpret the DNA.
Uh-huh.
It's been some interesting finds, such as they say the oldest living civilization or people living today are the Khoisan in South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
The Khoisan actually have DNA that goes back to America.
Mm-hmm.
Just real quick, since we got the screen loaded. I'm waiting, my bad, I'm waiting. But yeah, to keep going. But yeah, DNA is only good for uh connecting you with living people. Other than that, the estimates are not accurate at all. The
Mm-hmm.
estimates are not accurate. Um, and they're basing it off. They even state themselves that the DNA results or estimates will be more accurate if more people take it. So they need more people's DNA to make it accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Also, when it comes to the Americas, it is against the law to dig up bones
Mm-hmm.
of American Indians. It
Mm-hmm.
is illegal. You had to get permission from the tribal nations to even dig up American Indians to even test their DNA that are dead. So they're not. So yeah, yeah, I'm
Okay.
out
No, I was just
there. Yeah, it's a lot to take
yeah.
in.
Bear with us. Yeah, we having this little delay and this
All right, cool.
this little issue. All right. All right.
All
So
right, cool. I'm about to. Uh huh.
so I saw something. I think that you posted up there. I think you've been posting for a while about the petition of misclassified Indians. You know, could you kind of talk
Right.
about that? What explain what that is all about? Because people, I'm sure that a lot of people that hear that, you know what I'm saying, they have no idea what that even mean. What it means. What could you break that down for me, for us?
Yeah, of course. Okay, so the petition for misclassified Indians, American Indians, is very important. It is. I can explain it. I can pull out the petition right now and read from it.
Mm-hmm.
Just the different remedies that we're seeking for a petition to the
Mm-hmm.
United States government in Congress to get a bill
Mm-hmm.
passed to not only to just bring about restitution to the American Indians. And I'm gonna pull that up. I'm gonna pull that up now and go over that. Bear with me. Can y'all see me? Hold on. Can you see my screen? All right, cool.
Uh,
Hold on. I had I was about to say some important stuff right here. I don't know
let me
why
see.
why these links are acting
Let me
like
see
that.
something. I don't even know if on the other side, because that connection is so bad. I don't know if that I could share on the other end. So, are you able to show it, share on this?
Uh, am I able to share? Can you even the my connection is bad on the other side?
Yeah, like it's bad on the
This is
yeah, on the other side because it's
y'all
like
on YouTube.
it's real bad. Like this, the IG is the
Sheesh.
best feed we got right now. But you go ahead, you can go ahead and read it.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And read important parts.
Hold on. All
All
right.
right.
I'm trying to find that thing. Yeah. Dang. Sorry. Oh, I'm had the wrong thing. I clicked the wrong thing. My bad, y'all. All
No, you good. Take your
right.
time. We're gonna get this information out.
All right. Hopefully I can share it on StreamYard. But
Let me see. You got another
I had a lot of time. All right, cool. So
you got it?
this petition, yeah, this petition was created. I'm gonna flip it for IG. But yeah,
Okay.
this
All right.
petition was created for by Urban Indian Heritage Society. It is a petition by Urban Indian Heritage Societies for the passage of American Indian Inclusion Act, and this is the monstrosity that has happened to American Indians over the course of colonization, reclassification, address reclassification, discovery, and actually to redress all known tribal records that provide direct distinctions of misclassified American Indians that are in possession of the United States Bureau of Indian Affairs, National Archives, Department of Housing, the United States Department of Defense, and the United States Department of Commerce, creating a federally commissioned genealogical committee managed by the Urban Indian Heritage Society, creating oversight of committee that governs seven mandatory criteria for tribal membership and appeals for tribal membership denial within all state and federally recognized tribes. Creating a tribal band extension commission approved by UIHS immediate, unique, and distinct federal protections for misclassified American Indians, federally recognized creation of of the American Indian Political Party. That's the first R. The second R, removal and return. So, returning a land that was Indian and removal of taxation on federal, state properties and sales tax of land and dissolution of mandate on income tax divestment for misclassified American Indians. Resolve immediate appeal of the 114th Congress, in which direct violation of American Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People was committed to, and speaks to sanctioned removal of American Indian and Negro and replacing the ethnicities with African American, Native American, or Alaskan Native. The American Indian was reclassified as a Negro per the 1830 Indian Removal Act within H.R. 4238. Negro has now been changed to African American. Juvenile reform, reformatory institutions, jail, prison, and correctional system investigations. Special reform for healthcare, independent oversight for Indian homes, schools, tribal schools, language immersion schools as well for Indian schools, basically. That includes HBCUs as well because they were Indian schools. Implement and fund federally mandated American Indian heritage, contemporary education, and the seven arts. Correctly identify via federal funding, the American Indian schools were renamed under misclassification to historically black colleges and universities. College federally funded college courses, vocational and trade school grants for American Indian studies, formerly American Indian histories to citizenship test, including American Indian history to citizenship test, immediate moratorium on land, water, air, mineral space, and property sales to foreign buyers and corporate entities, immunity for misclassified American Indians for possession, personal, or commercial use of cultural, ceremonial, holistic crops, such as cannabis, tobacco, mushrooms, peyote, ayahuasca. Mushrooms would be psilocybin. Freedom of practice of spiritual and ceremonial practice for all misclassified American Indians. Now, the last R is restitution. Immediate creation of public misclassified American Indian Trust for allocation and restitution fund, unity toll, transportation toll, corporate tax, restitution for fraud, racketeering, and conspiracy committed against misclassified American Indians and families, illegal amendments, cross-outs, B's and 13s on the census. So, example of that, somebody changing an I to a B on the census. Creation of a special budget committee to create fiscal and monthly allocations to misclassified American Indians. Removal of all debt, restitution for compensation, getting basically pardons for wrongful imprisonment and unfair sentences. Broken families, death, disembarkment, illegal health diagnosis, administration of psychotropic drugs, federal pardons, exoneration, and expungements for misclassified American Indians in custody for all nonviolent drug crimes, including marijuana charges and conviction. Federal fee waivers for all agricultural licensing and permits for misclassified American Indians. And then what registered voters, which will be submitted to the United States congressional body. So you had to be a registered voter to sign this petition. Because that's how, including the 5 civilized tribes. That is all.
Yo, that's very powerful, man, because it's kind of like is literally just to the point of just taking everything back that was taken, the name, the culture, and everything, and knowing that it was taken. You know what I'm saying? And saying, "Yo, give me my shit back." That's powerful, man.
That's powerful, man. Right.
That's powerful.
Yeah,
Bunch
most
of levels.
definitely.
So you talked about. So people are hearing you say American Indian, American Indian. What does American Indian mean?
American Indian is quite simple. American Indian means that you're the Aboriginal in North America.
Mm-hmm.
You're the first person here. That means, and this is from the Black Laws Dictionary, it means that you're indigenous. You're here before everybody. The Aboriginal of North America.
I
You
know,
know?
I know, I
So
know Miss
you're the
Baez
Aboriginal of North America. That means
she knows that law.
you feel me? Black Laws
Mm-hmm.
Dictionary states that Indian is the Aboriginal of North America.
Yeah.
And also on the treaties, they were Indian queens and queens, kings and queens.
Mm-hmm.
And I am actually related to one, and I'm gonna show you. Guys, I'm about to share my screen, and I'm gonna flip it on IG. Definitely gonna share my screen on YouTube and show you how I am related to treaty signers.
Yes, Miss Baez. Yep, I had my status corrected as well.
All right, cool. So this is this is one of right. I'm related to treaty signers. Then I'll go on to other Indians. Now, where are we at? Let's go back pretty far. Going through the Barnes family. This is one of my ancestors. Yeah, I made this tree myself. I did. I did about 90%, 99.9%, because I did get help with one part. I did 99.9% of the work myself. Oh, I'm using ancestry. Powhatan. This is one of my ancestors.
And how far is that going back? $1578.
13th great grandma. Then we about to go back. Her granddaughter. I'm about to. Oh. Colonel John West married her granddaughter. This is Colonel John West. He married her granddaughter, who would be the queen of the Pamunkey. And now other first contact nations.
So this is really fascinating for me because for numerous reasons. 'Cause I remember last time after we spoke, we went into I think we were on Clubhouse, and that one guy, what was his name? I can't remember his name. He came in there talking about do the DNA test, do a DNA test. Remember? He was like a
Yeah,
what y'all call him, a $5 Indian, right? You remember that guy? I'm talking about?
I think so,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. But see, you can't refute these receipts right here. Just like you were saying earlier, how these are all coming from records. You know what I'm saying? People all try to use DNA that can't be um, completely justified, you know, with the outcome, as opposed to having these records. So you can't refute this.
All right. Facts. And I'm showing my own right here.
Hmm.
John Martin. This Martin surname goes back to Christian Pettis. She is the daughter of Colonel Thomas Pettis. She is also the daughter of Kyle Key Jane Petawomack. The daughter of Pocahontas, and she's the daughter of Chief Colquhoun of the Petawomack. She's one of my great grandmothers. Going through this Anderson line. If I can click on it, sheesh. Going through this Anderson line right here. No, this is the wrong one. I clicked on the wrong line right here. You can see William Skiffin right here. He married Sarah Elizabeth, who was the daughter of Cleopatra Powhatan. She was the daughter of Cleopatra Powhatan. And this goes back to the Powhatan chiefs. Also, this is the last thing I'm going to show is my Vaughn family. And this goes back to the Mohawk. And also the Okonichi Tutelo. These people from New York and Canada. I'm about to stop sharing my screen.
You know, that's truly amazing because I remember you included. I remember the Dane Calloway,
Uh,
brother Rod Hayes. They all talk about um,
uh,
how we were already here and how we're indigenous, and
oh, yeah,
it's
plug
like,
this laptop up.
what you say? Oh,
Oh, no, I said it. All right,
can
I'm
you
here.
hear me? Okay,
Yeah, I
cool,
just
cool,
my
cool.
laptop up. Yeah.
No, and it's like the story that us of black, or what we want to call African Americans here, we're told is like a complete farce, a complete lie. You know, even the slave trade. You know what I'm saying? Everything that we are told about our history, it it's incorrect. Could you kind of talk about how it was written out of history? Well, I can't remember the name of what they called it, paper genocide. Can you talk about that a little bit?
All right, cool. So there's been many like was presented in the petition earlier. Misclassification happened.
Hmm.
They reclassified and did colored, colored Negro, mulatto, black, even white, because
Hmm.
white represented their own land. These people were landowners that were classified as white. You can be it still applies to people. White still applies to people with multiple variations of skin complexions to this day. You can just look up the right racial category, uh, classification of white in the U.S. Census, those places as well. So that being said, to get back on topic,
Hmm.
this is what happened because this caste system that was brought by the Europeans was brought over to the mulatto. And mulatto, someone that was mixed with two different tribes. That's where mulatto comes from. Someone that's mixed with two different tribes. But the Europeans flipped that and made it seem like it's just a white person and African. That's not true. So with that misclassification comes is paper genocide. Plenty of examples with this. You have Walter Plecker. He's a very famous one. Walter Plecker. He reclassified or misclassified so many indigenous people in Virginia. He had a hit list of families. That you could look up that he claimed had. But it was a known fact that Walter Plecker was a eugenicist and a white supremacist. So he believed in a pure white race. So if you weren't white, you basically were Negro to him. Inferior. This is people from classifying as Indian or white because they were dark skinned or they had a certain tone of copper in their skin.
All right. And I also hear. I think you were talking about when you were sharing recently on your last your mass mushroom trip. You had a you were building on the out of Africa theory. Like I know I hear that. I hear that out of Africa theory a lot. We're all kind of taught that, but you coming from a different angle and a different twist. Could you build on that?
Out of Africa theory. While I was talking about it is ritual because it's cultivated the minds of so many people. But out of Africa theory, and it's quite simple. It's like that science cannot confirm that it came out of Africa, and also on top of that, it's backed by eugenics and Darwinism. Well, you can't have out of Africa without eugenics and Darwinism, because Darwin was the first one to say that human life came from primates, and then the primates evolved in what we consider black people, and then those black people evolved into who we consider white people, the purest form, or the perfect form of humanity. So, and out of Africa backs that up because they said the oldest bones they found is Lucy in Ethiopia, who's over 3 million years old, and she's a primate.
And it still has nothing to do with has nothing to do with the human aspect dealing with the primate of 3 million years ago. Correct?
No, it has nothing to
Yeah.
do with it. Has
Yeah.
nothing
Yeah.
because can anybody name a civilization that is considered ancient, whether it's America in the Americas, whether it's in Africa, whether it's in Australia, whether it's in wherever? Can you recount any civilization that's considered ancient, saying that they came from primates?
Not 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 in our culture. You know what I'm saying? Not in our culture. I've never heard that. I mean, I've heard coming from the stars and stuff like that, but just straight in from or even even on another tip, just manifesting here from the etheric plane. I've heard that, but just coming from monkeys, I've never heard that. Not from our
Exactly.
culture, at least. You know what I'm saying? So why is it? Why is the Africa pushed so heavily on Black Americans?
I said Africa pushed so heavy. It's quite simple to get people off their land. To get, I'm not saying it's all Black Americans, because some Black Americans are European. Some of them actually are African. But it's a ploy to get the majority of us off the land. get you focused somewhere else. Is it, you know, because even before the Great Migration, most of the people that owned land were black people. The people that were classified through South Carolina, in North Carolina, in Maryland, in Virginia. These people were farmers. The pale Europeans, at least, started with Prince Hall. Prince Hall was talking about gathering people going back to Africa. The U.S. government was behind it too. Who else? You had Liberia, the thing that's going on with Liberia, where United States brought up territory in West Africa, and they sent a bunch of Indians and Black Europeans over there to colonize West Africa.
So what? Because it's interesting. One time I was in New York, years ago, and I was riding one of those tours. You know what I'm saying? With the double decker bus. Well, not double decker. That's in London, but one of those tours. I was riding it, and the tour guide, she was like, one of the oldest artifacts found in America seemed like it was an African artifact. You know what I mean? She was saying African, but you know what I'm saying. But it's interesting to
Uh-huh.
me because even her saying that, you know, it didn't have to necessarily be African. It was just not European.
Right. Yeah, it just wasn't. Yeah, it's because of where a lot of this comes from is from Melville Herskovitz. He was he's deemed the father of African studies. He's the one who took it himself to attribute Black American culture to somewhere, and that somewhere was in Africa. And you have a lot of people that were inspired by him, and he was inspired by Franz Boas, who is the father of American anthropology. So you have all these anthropologists getting their train of thought from these two people, and it's spread out to different parts of the world. So anybody that is considered melanated, Black, or has a certain complexion of copper or brown, their culture and their practices are attributed to Africa. Doesn't matter if they're in the Pacific Islands, doesn't matter if they're in Australia, it doesn't matter, or in South Asia. Their culture is attributed to Africa because of these anthropologists.
And it's interesting to me because phenotypically, you could see a difference in like an African person, a lot of people here in Americas, or even like the people in New Guinea. You know what I'm saying? Well, they're melanated and they got woolly hair, but they don't all look the same. It's like you look it's like when you look at a Asian person, you look like a South Korean person, a Japanese person, a Chinese person. They all look Asian, but they look different. Yeah,
Right,
so it
right,
would make
exactly.
sense that the timeline of the existence of this race be oldest indigenous on this planet, but they ain't gonna all look the same. That don't make no sense. Not in this big
Right,
vast,
exactly.
not on this big, not on the Africa's a huge continent, but also in Americas. Because it's interesting to me because I was listening to somebody and they were talking about how like the mounds in like South America, like Teotihuacan, all these different Olmecian mounds, they were all done by like a certain type of individuals, but those individuals spread all over all over the planet, but they were all from the same different groups, but from the same, I guess, school of thought, I guess, but they were all still melanated. You know what I'm saying? Just meaning like, just proving my point that they couldn't, if you spread all across the planet building, you know what I'm saying? That's just not one person that can do that. You know what I'm saying?
I'd say that they all sprung about America. I'm going to let me say that. If you look through mythology, if you look through He was just talking about my trip. But just if you look through the mythology and from different places, you start off with the Mayan star elder. His name is Don Alejandro. He talks about how beings came from what we know as the Pleiades, which is the stars, and they gave knowledge to first the people that were in Atlantis, which we would call America. That was America. Atlantis comes from Aslan, and Aslan stretched out from the Caribbean towards the west coast of the United States, including Mexico. So that was Atlantis. Atlantis, these beings that came about Atlantis spread knowledge to India, the Hindus. The Hindus have a mythology of the Naga people. They say the Naga people come from the west. You have, they also went to Egypt. Bobby Hemmett had broke this down before. He said that Osiris' name was the Great Westerner. All the animals that are Egyptian symbols come from America. But you got the ram, that's from America. The jaguar for Osiris, that's from America. The falcon of Heru, that's from America. The bird of Tahuti, that's from America. The bird of Isis, that's from America. I could go on. The Cholo dog for Anubis, that's in Mexico. You can only find Cholo dogs in Mexico. Indigenous.
Same origins, different
naturally.
places, different representation. Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, it's
Yeah,
interesting to
basically.
me because, like, even
That's
when
basically
I
what it
remember
is.
I was in Teotihuacan, and I saw a lot of things that symbolize over there. And the king that I saw on their walls in the museum over in Mexico City, he was jet black, feathered down and everything. You know what I'm saying? And I saw so much representation that I've seen in Egypt on those walls. The snakes, you know what I'm saying? I could go on and on. The trees. I mean, so many things that I saw. It was like looking at Egypt in Americas, but in even the same depiction of the way that the color of the people. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Uh-huh.
Is it?
Right. Yeah.
Is it? I mean, it's like I'm just wondering. Like, I remember the good brother Rod Hayes always talked about mirror tribes. Like, you'd have the tribes in
Yeah.
Egypt that would be doing something. You know, they would even have the dress. They had and it would be the namuz over there, but on the head would be the headpiece. They have an apron. You know what I'm saying? And it makes sense. Again, same people, just different part of the world.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's where else? What I was talking about mythology. Yeah, there's so many people talk about so many tribes or cultures that talk about going to Polaris, the North Star when they die. The North Star star system. So it's so many, and then also it's been accounted that Mayans traveled over to Egypt. It's been documented. It's also been documented that the Algonquin traveled over to Europe and helped civilize them, and also the Iroquois were over there, because it's two examples. Well, yeah, there's two Roman philosophers named Seneca. Seneca is a tribe over here. It's an Iroquois tribe in the United States. They're in New York, also in Pennsylvania. So, with that being said, we also have the tradition of Christmas that was just passed. It's called Winkon a tradition of people getting gifts, elves. And Nikomo was an elf, just like Santa Claus would be, a giant elf. Uh, our folks had potlucks. Folks had Christmas presents for the kids, toys, things like that. You give out presents. The women would cook. And what the Europeans were doing, they were brutalizing each other basically with Saturnalia. They were brutalizing each other. They had to tone down their practices when they came over here. And the story of Santa Claus wasn't even published until 1830s. So they got that stuff from the traditions of our people. And also, even the name Saturn comes from over here. Saturna, that's a chief. That's the name of a chief. Also, the Santa Claus hat comes from a Timbuktu chief, whose name is Saturna. So, and there's other tribes too. that wore what we would deem the Santa Claus hat.
Okay. So is it okay, then this is my question, like, because we all knew at one time the landmass was together, with Pangaea and etc. Okay. So if it's together and it's all one, then it doesn't life didn't necessarily have to start first in Africa. If it's one land, it could have started someone else and then broken apart, and those individuals started from, and it could have been America. You know what I'm saying? It broke apart, and again, different tribes, different places. Is that too far fetched to say that
You know
America's
what?
the motherland?
Yes, it is. I would say because from what I got from my trip, my ceremony, Pangea didn't exist. It was never just one
Mm,
landmass. It's always been at least two. You have Turtle Island. People already know what Turtle Island is. That'd be North America, South America, and there's also Antarctica. And then you have Serpent Island, which would be Australia, Europe, Asia, and Africa. The serpent and they both reptile. They both represent reptiles. They both represent the same thing spiritually. It's just duality, the duality of
mm.
life. There's
Two
always two
giant
sides.
continents. Two giant
Huh?
continents. Two.
Yeah, two giant continents basically. Yep. And how it's separated, it is not that the world broke apart. It's because it went underwater. These parts of the earth went underwater.
Yeah, it's interesting, man, because I'm watching I got to give props to Graham Hancock, because before I got into information like from Dr. York, anybody, I read that book Fingerprint of the Gods, right, years ago, when it first came out. And when I read that book, that really opened my eyes. And the only reason I'm bringing that up is because he has a documentary right now, it's going in about the Americas, and talking about some of the stuff you're talking about now, as far as the water receding and etc. Right on what you're talking about. And also, what really blew my mind, because like I told, like people more know me. I go to these places. You know what I'm saying? I like to see my fellow. I like to touch them. But there were so many places that I've learned, even in Mexico, that were humongous, giant pyramids that just
Uh-huh.
just, just like Teotihuacan, that were not only they haven't excavated yet, but the Spaniards built churches on top of them. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and to me, it's amazing, because the more and more, like, we're talking about right now, we're just truly seems like we're truly just we've only unearthed a minuscule amount of what we put here on this planet. A minuscule amount. I also saw something that they said that
Mm-hmm.
satellites said that Egypt, that they saw 100 different pyramids that are underground.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Of course. There's underground civilizations, definitely underwater civilizations. People are advanced, advanced beings. This is quantum science. And what I realized, and this is in the book too, that Mayans were master quantum scientists. This is a book called The Quantum Science of Psychedelics. And Mayans had a vast, advanced knowledge. And they were the first to create a tangible science, a quantum, a tangible, be able to exist in nature. And how they did it was through their ceremonies, through psychedelics, what people call the psilocybin, the ayahuasca, you know, things like that. Uh, and this is how they pass down the knowledge through ceremony. You see ceremonies all throughout, hieroglyphs all around the world. You see people doing ceremonies and rituals. That's how the knowledge was spread down. People call it a mystery school
Yeah, the
and
Baba
things like that.
Kalindi, he went into heavy about that aspect, about everything related with our culture was all psychedelic based. You know what I'm saying? Um, he was going to the point to saying that a lot of the hieroglyphs and stuff that you had to partake to even read them. You know what I'm saying? To
Uh-huh.
really have a true
Right.
understanding of what it was. When you look at murals now, you're like, oh look, that looked like a nice picture, but you drop about 9 grams, and he's like, yo, those people, and he might have said more, but those people come off, they talk to you and tell you stories, and you see that that's all alive and it's technology once you are able to go to that frequency, man. And it's good that you say that, man, and you talk about that because I don't think that people realize that, because it's been demonized and all that stuff, and oh, the hippies brought it and all this kind of crazy stuff, that this was a part of our culture from day one. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can even say back been
Facts.
going back there because fungi is older than us humans are billions of years old. So you know, we've been doing this since for a very long time, and it's nothing wrong with it at all.
Right, exactly.
It's cultural.
It's not.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's culture. And the petition, going back to the petition, it highlights that. Us being able to go back to our indigenous practice of being able
Hmm.
to do those ceremonies
Hmm.
openly and things like that. Yeah, just have being able to practice them.
Yeah, that actually it even makes more sense because I was reading before in the old this is a real old book. It was talking about how like pretty much the Mayans and the Olmecs were like connected. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
phenotypically, like people like the Mayans, what they say the Mayans today, like the long-haired, um, dark-skinned Mayans were a after effect of the original Negroidish or melanated, woolly-haired um, Olmecian
Hmm.
um, Mayans. So really, it's like that culture was kind of hijacked as well. You know what I'm saying? And that's even in the Americas. So that's more talking about antiquity in America, correct?
Right. Yeah, because people, came. Of course, the conquest, the Spaniards came over. They they took on they took on the knowledge. They benefited from themselves. They also destroyed things too. As people around the world came in, mixed in, amalgamated, or they went in, they turned on the people. They had help from other indigenous people that they're working with, and that's how it took over. And people can't help what happened. There's people that are byproducts of the colonization, and that's fine as long as you reconnect with your folks and things like that. As long as you had the blood, that's what we say. No matter what you look like, as long as you had the blood, that's you. Um, so yeah,
And and what you did today, I'm so happy that you put on camera because, even going back to the conversation we said at that time in your clubhouse, and when people try to bring up this thing, when you got receipts like that, when you got receipts like that, like you just showed, I mean, that's irrefutable.
uh,
I mean, literally, it's to the point of like, yo, okay, it's a footprint to go back, and it really every claim that you made about the indigenous in Americas and the some of the woolly-haired, melanated people in here being classified as American Indians. What you just showed right there says it all. You know what I'm saying? All that's yeah, that's all. And even because I'm right now I'm in Virginia, and we got Powhatan's a big thing here, right outside of Richmond, as you know. You know what I'm saying? That it's Powhatan
of
everywhere.
course,
Powhatan State Park, Pocahontas, that whole area, and not only that, Matoaka, and so on. And I know we were talking about earlier, off camera, we were just talking about bloodlines and origins, and the way I'm, I'm searching that line too. But this is a topic that we really need to discuss and bring to the forefront. And I'm very happy that they have these good brothers like you that are taking things to the next level with these petitions. So people really say this ain't no joke, man. This is our history that was lost.
right.
It's
Hmm.
it's
Of
it's
course.
it's a stolen legacy, literally,
Uh huh.
of
Yeah, it's
the
stolen. It was
American
stolen.
Indian, the Native African Americans.
I mean, it's so you can say either or. The American Indian, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you get federally recognized, you're a Native American. So Just as how law works now. Thanks to Obama, he took Negro out the Constitution and American Indian. Not out of the Constitution, but he took it out of law.
Mm-hmm.
American Indian and Negro. So
Mm-hmm.
Native American is interchangeable. I know there's people uh, that feel the way about the terms, both the terms to
Mm-hmm.
be exact. But it's all about people's preference at this point. But just about to get back to family. That's the most important thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. Somebody just said find your tribe season. No, but that's real talk, man. That's this is the time in which we already know that we've been lied to and we can't trust anything that these folks have told us. So yeah, man, it's
Hmm.
time to go back and say, all right, we know you lied. Let's roll, man. Let's find out where we from, man. That's real talk.
Exactly. Finding the problem, identifying the problem, and getting the solution. Like, are you lying to us about history? We about to get our history back.
Yeah, yeah, and from what because I remember, back in the '90s when I remember Dr. York was heavy on the Chief Black Eagle and the Yamasee and all that stuff, and I was like looking at that, reading that back then. Of course, I didn't have a full understanding of where he was coming with it, but it's like the story, all the stories are there. They've just been wiped over. And all then the people coming with their like what do you call them, the $5 Indians coming in and trying to fake the funk on a nasty dunk, trying to say that they're these people and they just coming in. Yeah, could you break down what is a $5 Indian? Because a lot of people hear that. And what can you break that down, please?
So I'll just tell you what it's not. Right? A lot of the people that you see on the reservations, whether they look European, whether they look, because I've been to a powwow, whether they look European, whether they look Asian, I'll say, whether they look Asian, they're just as Indian as people that are dark skinned, or look like me and you. I'll say that $5 Indians. These are mostly people coming from Europe, coming to get benefits. Uh, they paid $5 to get on the roll, and they brought some other people with them. But they're getting they're kicking Indians out the tribe, and they were filling them in with Europeans. No matter what they look like. So yeah, I'll just say that because most of us, I've been to a powwow on the East Coast, and it's a mixed thing. They all business. You ain't gonna tell them they not either. There are people that look like us. There's people that look European, white. There's people that looked Asian. There's people that looked Hispanic because there were Aztecs up there at the powwow I was at. There's people that look Hispanic, and we were just embracing it. It was a good experience. So if people play the colorism game, people are entitled to feel how they feel about certain
Yeah,
things.
I remember
You know,
I was
I
listening
encourage.
to I was listening to Seer the Duke of Tears one time, not too long ago, and it was real interesting to me because he shed a lot of things on, like when you see stuff like TPs and wigwam, all these different things, and he was pretty much kind of breaking it down. It was like when it comes to Americas, everything ancient we built, and there was a different people that migrated here, and we were like, nah, y'all can't really, y'all can't come on this. Y'all got to go out there and chill, out there, and that's when they started setting up, TPs and wigwams and all this kind of stuff. So it's like he was just breaking it down, like, yo, we were already here, built all this stuff. These other people came on, and then we had to pretty much give them a way to live here as the indigenous people. Hmm.
With American Indians, not just Europeans and Africans. They brought over Asians, the Trans-Pacific slave trade. They brought Asian people from China. They brought people from the Pacific Islands. They brought people from. They also brought people from India. I have East Indian in my bloodline. This is on my mom's side, and it's documented. They brought people from East India over here from so, and they mixed in with American Indians, and this is what we get today. So, no matter if they and there's people that came, there are Asians that came with Genghis Khan in like the 1300s. People that came over with Genghis Khan, and there's a book called Chinos to Indians, or Chinos to Indians, that was brought from Asia and Mexico. There also is slave manifest for people that were Asian that were slaves transported through the Americas. They were classified as yellow.
Okay. So, what would the ultimate vision of an end game for that petition be? And as far as what's the ultimate end game? Meaning, is the mission to wake up all these woolly-haired, melanated people that think that they blacks and African Americans, say, yo, you know, this is your land, this is your rights. You know what I'm saying? What's the end game? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In titles, including white, restitution is the end game. Restoration of land, restoration of culture, heritage, identity, all that. That's the end game.
And the government knows this though, correct?
Of course
Yeah,
they do.
and they acknowledge it, right?
They acknowledge the petition.
No, no, I'm just saying the true
Oh,
history of American Indians.
yeah, of course. I mean, whether they do it publicly or not, of course they acknowledge it. They know it. They know it. You know, they have all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
documents.
Because I remember that the one empress was that Empress Versace down in I think I might have said her name wrong, but the one down I think she was in Louisiana. They were like she had all the receipts showing everything. You know what I'm saying? That all the native aspects. I heard they gave her a real hard time about it all. But all the treaties, all the stuff, but they had to acknowledge it because she had the receipts.
Uh-huh. Yeah, of course. They had to. Yeah, like I said, I'm related to treaty signers. I showed it. Um, I'm related to treaty signers. Treaty signers in Virginia. Um, Princess. Well, not princess, but the queen of the Pamunkey. I'm related to her. There's plenty of people that I know that I converse with basically daily that are related to her as well. So yeah, folks gotta acknowledge that. If you have land, there's people winning back land. So this guy won back a beach in California. He won back a beach. His family owned a beach. He had to get that back. If your family owned land on a university, they gonna have to give you something for that university.
The true story of this continent, what was it we call the United States of America. It's very interesting. I think it's interesting because it's a completely different picture than has been painted today. You know,
Uh huh.
and it in the antiquity lies in the oppressed people. You know what I'm saying, of this place. You know what I'm saying?
Uh huh.
Because we were here, we built. I saw I was reading somewhere that one of the oldest modern day buildings here is a mosque. Yeah, is a mosque. Like the Moors, for example, they made some mosque in, like, I think it's somewhere in I think it's in one of the corn. What is it? What's the corn? Nebraska. I think it's, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's called they call it they changed it to the Corn Palace or something like that. But even something going back that predating anything that you could see that would be modern day European. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the courthouses, you know what I'm saying, for what I've
Right.
researched, a lot of we already made them. You know what I'm saying? Most of the
Right.
stuff was already made here, and just like we were talking about earlier about the Spaniards building on top of the pyramids, but they did the same thing here at a lot of places.
Yeah, of course.
Hmm.
Yeah, of course. There's so many. So many things they build. They build on top of mounds and stuff all the time.
Yeah.
They even tear down mounds to build on top of them.
Yeah. I had a very interesting experience because I went to DC. I think sometime last year when I think it was in the fall, and it's very interesting looking at the obelisk, looking at all these old buildings because it's all replicas, and it reminded me of going to Disneyland after seeing the real things. You know what I'm saying? After seeing real, going to Chichen Itza, going to Tulum, and going to all these different places, and it is so interesting to me because it's like they're faking the funk, man. You know what I'm saying? They're faking the funk so hard. You know what I'm saying? They can only do replicas because they don't have antiquity.
Right. Right. Exactly. Yeah. A lot. They got it from us. All the masonry that include they got it from over
Hmm.
here. Because when the Europeans came over here, they said this was the land of milk and honey. They called the people Los Indos. That means the people of God, or the people of God. This is the Holy Land. So the people that are God, and then a good thing about that when we say Indian, right? Because they try to say, oh, that was a Columbus gave it as a derogatory term, yada yada. Not if it translates to what the people were calling themselves over here. Every tribal nation, I don't know about every, but many tribal nations over here, their names translate to the people. And if they came over here calling the people Los Indos, meaning the people of God, what does that mean? The tribes already called themselves the people of God, or the people that are with God. But if for on an Indian person, the people of nature.
You know, y'all that are watching this, please share this. Follow Polka Dot Rev podcast, of course. Podcast, of course. Follow the good brother. Please share this video. Talk to your people. You know what I'm saying? Tell them, that you are the original inhabitants of this place. You didn't come on no slave boat. You know what I'm saying? I also heard that there's such a small percentage of people that came from Africa to here. I heard it's like it's a very small percentage compared to what we were told.
We talk about only about 4% came here. Like 93,000 now. Henry Louis Gates updated the number 93,000. I've seen records of Africans being brought over. You can do the 1619 project. They have records of people. John Punch that came from Cameroon. They say he was the first person to be sentenced a lifetime of indentured servitude. Who else? You had there's the Louisiana slave registries. They got people from different parts of Africa, whether it was Guinea, whether they were Mondé, whether they were Moors, uh, and then also you had the former dependencies, British records, right? These are slave registries of them getting people from the eastern part of Africa, the southeastern Africa, which would be Mozambique, Madagascar, and Mauritius. I have an ancestor that imported 1,500 people from Madagascar to Malagasy people into Virginia through the Eastern Shore.
And in addition, people don't understand it was a lot of reverse of what they were told as well, meaning a lot of people here were shipped off to places like the Caribbean. Correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. The biggest slave trade in the Americas was the intra-American slave trade, sending people from different parts of the Americas to different parts of the Americas. Sending people to Africa. They sent people to West Africa. They sent our people to Europe. They sent people to different parts of Africa as well. So yeah, they sent Indians, Americans to Africa. They sent Indians to Europe. They sent Indians to other places in the Americas. They sent this whole bunch of Natchez to Haiti, coming from Mississippi. They sent the Pequot down to Barbados. They sent so many Caribbeans to North America, my family included. That would be Jamaica and Barbados.
That's interesting. So, the good sister, I can't see it. Tasha, sorry, I don't know how to
Darvid,
pronounce that exactly, but
that's my
she that's your cousin. Okay, it's interesting because
her.
on the she's saying that the oldest, and this is real interesting because I got to see this. The oldest man-made structure in
Hold on.
America is Mound B at LSU, and that is very interesting. I'm gonna take a look at that actually, because oh yeah, I gotta see that. I gotta see that for myself because that I mean that's a story. I know the reason I say that because I know there's a story behind that and the people behind that. Um, yeah, I'm gonna have to do some research on that. That is very interesting. Mound B. Let me write that down. Mound B LSU. I don't know if the good sisters on there still watching, but if you are, who are the? Or you can maybe you can break it down. Who are the people that she's talking about? Who would those people be? The people that yeah, she said oldest
Yeah,
man-made structure in America is
that's the
Mound B at
Mississippian
LSU.
culture.
Oh,
I believe
okay,
that would be the
okay, that makes
Mississippian
sense.
culture, if I'm correct.
Mississippi. Okay, that does make sense. Mound B. Okay, and do you know what she's talking about? Have you seen it before?
Uh-huh,
It
I know
is.
what she's talking about.
Okay, is it a big size or is it is it a big mound or is it just kind of like
Let me see. Let me make sure.
yeah no it's
But
interesting because being in Atlanta when you go up to the Etowah mounds there's mounds up there which they're kind of tall but they also say they are eroded away as well but I'm just and also the ones I think in St. Louis that are quite big. I can't remember the name of them right now, but I've seen them. They're very. Let's see. Okay, this she said they're called the Mississippian or mound builders cultures. Okay, okay, okay. I got you. I have heard of that before. The Mississippi, the mound builders culture. Okay, okay. I got you. She said she just posted a link. Okay, now I have
yeah,
heard of the builders culture. I've heard of the Mississippians and I have heard of mound building culture, but I just haven't seen the actual specific places you're talking to. So I got to check that out. Good gracious, man, y'all
yeah.
cooking
The
my
number
mind.
it's not.
It's pretty big.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
big.
but I
It's not
mean,
huge though.
still, that's still like even the one in Etowah. They said that was. I mean,
Hmm.
it's it's pretty big, but they said that thing was eroded immensely. You know what I'm saying? It was bigger than it is now.
Right. Yeah, I come from mound building people too out of South Carolina. The Santee. There's mounds all over the United States, in America, period. So, but yeah,
Yep.
that's their ones.
Did
That
it
one of the ones I come from.
is is when it and like the sister was building on like the Mississippians and the mound builders. Was it a similar significance to them building those mounds being connected to the same way those other pyramids and mounds were building all the rest of the Americas? Same. You think it's the same? How do you say it? Same meaning behind it? Is it technological? Is it more? What do you think that as far as your research, that these buildings, or even the sister, she can chime in. What was the connection with everybody just building mounds?
Uh, I mean, people was on the same frequency. I say it depends on the culture what the
See,
meaning
she
would
said
be.
same culture. Yeah.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, no, I mean, no, it's interesting because I think I was listening to Billy Carson like last week, and he always talks about like the what do you say the emerald tablets in Tahuti, um like taking the knowledge, like you were saying earlier, the Atlanteans, and just taking similar culture and just spreading it all over the globe, which would make perfect sense. Having a specific school, having same technologies, and having the same type of the same type of technology and meaning behind these different mounds slash pyramids. I mean you know
Uh,
that's an interesting connection. Because like you were saying, same culture, same
right.
ancient, yeah, same ancient culture. That makes a lot. That makes a lot of sense. Wow, man. Y'all don't know, man. Y'all sitting around, watching all this crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? That you be listening to these crazy lies being told, and there's a whole new history right underneath your feet and inside your bloodline and DNA. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Y'all better get on some of these ceremonies like the good brothers talking about, and they gonna show you your bloodline. Them them cybercillions they get in you, they connect with that DNA, and they gonna show you where you came from. They gonna show you. You know what I'm saying? You gonna see it. Plain
Yeah,
as day.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, oh man, you got me. Look, you got y'all, both you and your cousin. Y'all got my mind so crooked out that I'm gonna have to do a whole new research on this daggone just the native aspect of everything because I'm just learning you know the I'll just say this just from what I have learned so far on my grandmother's side, I'm seeing that there's a Cherokee connection. That's what I'm seeing there. Yeah. That's as far as I've gotten so far. So,
Right. We
but I'm
could
gonna keep
definitely
digging.
we could do a build. I'll bring Tasha on and Phoenix. That'd be cool. That's
Oh
cool
yeah,
too. We
let's
could
definitely
build
do
them.
that.
So
Let me
yeah.
just make sure let me just show my neck and my head heal first after they all done cracked it out because this is some serious information right here, man. Like this is this is this is what do you this is world changing. You know what I'm saying? This is
Right.
seriously, this is like life changing, I should say. This is life changing information. The whole paradigm, just this
Right.
fact that you showed, it throws away everything of the falsehoods that we've been told for now. And now there's a true foundation of a true culture that we have right here.
Right.
Amazing, man.
Uh, most definitely.
Well, I'm gonna tell you one thing, man. And look, I'm gonna say this sooner than later, because tomorrow night I got the good brother. He gonna be talking about Turtle Island and other things as well. So as you know, and if you everybody that watches the show, this is something a theme that I am going to continuously talk about and continuously try to explain to these people and have you know educated individuals like the good sister Phoenix, your cousin, you know what I'm saying, and you on here to really, just keep on informing the people, you know what I'm saying? Because now is the day and time that we need to do all this. Because the age of Aquarius, all this information's here. Ain't no excuse to you out here not knowing what your lineage and where you come from. Ain't no excuse. Y'all need to get off your ass and do some work. You know what I'm saying? For the people
Yeah,
that
most
don't
definitely.
know. You know what I'm saying? But but man, another great episode, brother. Thank you for giving us good information. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm ready. Gather, get the cavalry. You know what I'm saying? Get the tribe together. You know what I'm saying? And let's have another build, man. And we could go even deeper. You know what I'm saying? Into this. This is as I've been. If you have watched this show, like I said, this is a priority right now for me to get this information and not only that, but also connect my lineage just like you have. So I appreciate you. I appreciate the great audience for chiming in. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, some of y'all comments, daggone, got me like my mind. Me wanting to dig more and and learn more about this. You know what I'm saying? And also just important. So I appreciate you, good brother. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna keep on doing it. If you haven't already, please follow Polka Dot Rabbit podcast. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We talk about that. You talk about the Rod Hayes. Yeah, Rod Hayes, the Duke of Tears, Dane Calloway. You know what I'm saying? The good brother Darvid Osiris. all these cats, man, they be coming with it. They be coming with this information hard, man. You know, with receipts, with receipts. It ain't nobody up there talking just no craziness. They come with receipts hard, man. So please follow the good brother Darvid Osiris. He's all this information is on his TikTok. All this information is emails on there. What do you? I know you have services for the people. What? Yeah. Before we head out, go ahead and tell the people how they can contact you and what service you have for them. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Well, good brother, you have a great night and have a great New Year. And I'm very very happy that you're still doing your thing. And as a good brother Rod Hayes says, all tribes unite. Find what tribe you are, and after that, all tribes unite. It's that time. All right, that's it for me. Polka Dot Rabback podcast. Peace and love. I'm out.